Citizen,
I
isn't
was
it?
going to say that's called Phoenix Avenue.
All righty, according to the clock on the wall, it is 5:30. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the great citizens of Barling. Please be with this board as we make decisions here this evening. Please be with all of our citizens and the ones who tragedy that struck earlier today. Be with them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All righty.
I did too.
Welcome, everybody. Let's do a roll call.
Aaron Rowe.
Here.
John Manus.
Here.
Poncho Davis.
Here.
Marcia Parker.
Here.
Ken Coley.
Here.
Bill Young. Ron Sharum.
Here.
All righty. If everybody's been able to look at the minutes from April 14th, we'd like a motion to approve those minutes as
So
written.
moved.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? Got a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. All right, motion approved. Anybody from the public like to talk about any of the agenda items tonight? Nope, running right along. There is no unfinished business, so let's get down to consideration of tabled ordinance 529 to repeal and replace ordinances 224 and 367, designating places for the posting of ordinances. You get to it here.
You'll find the memo in there. It quotes the two ordinances. There was one that was prehistoric, Barling, number 224. And it was the one based on the original law that calls for 5 places to be posted. You'll find the ordinance that follows, and this is rewritten, it adds, it gives you the actual Arkansas Code annotated citation, which we have gone back and verified, and it tells which ordinances are to be removed. And if you look at section 1, it gives you the street address of the locations. And this is kind of redundant because there's only one of each of these main stores in the city. It doesn't really confuse you.
The only thing that I'm seeing right now is it doesn't mention anything to do with the website or anything like
Can't.
that. You can't do that? Okay, so
Can't
they
do
have
it.
to be physical places?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do they have an idea where they're going to post these? I mean, that's, you go down.
Each one of these locations has a community bulletin board,
Okay.
so it's prominent location inside the business on the community bulletin board.
Then we know where to look. That'll
Yes.
work. Thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion to place it on the first reading?
So moved.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? Roll call vote, please.
Aaron Rowe. John Manus.
Yes.
Poncho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharum.
Yes.
All righty. Ordinance number 529, an ordinance to repeal and replace ordinance 224 and 367, designating places for the posting of ordinances, prescribing other matters related thereto, and declaring an emergency. Whereas Arkansas Code 14-55-206, A, 1, and B provides that ordinance should be posted and or published at 5 of the most public places within the municipality. And whereas ordinances 224 and 367 list outdated or other locations that are no longer open and in existence, or their locations and or addresses have changed. Now, therefore, be it ordained and enacted by the Board of Directors of the City of Barling, Arkansas, that Section 1, ordinances 224 and 367 designating places for the posting of ordinances are hereby repealed and replaced to change the places designated for the posting of notice of the adoption of ordinances of the municipality, to wit, Casey's General Store at 107 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas, Barling City Hall at 307 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas, Yeager's Ace Hardware at 942 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas, Big A's Convenience Store at 1210 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas, and Mercy Crest at 1300 Strozier Lane, Barling, Arkansas. Section 2, proper notification and publication of the Barling's ordinances are essential to the governance of the municipality and mandated by state law. Therefore, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance, being necessary for preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, shall be in force and effect upon its passage and approval, adopted this 20th day of April, 2026. Greg Murray, Mayor, attested to by City Clerk Florine Brown. Can we get a motion to suspend the rules of reading this 3 separate occasions?
Make that motion, we suspend the rule for reading of 3 different occasions.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Got a second? Roll call vote, please.
Aaron Rowe. John Manus.
Yes.
Pancho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Cheryl.
Yes.
Are there any other questions or discussion about this ordinance? If not, we would like a motion to approve this ordinance. Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second it.
Got a second? Roll call vote, please.
Aaron Rowe. John Manus.
Yes.
Pancho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Cheryl.
Yes.
All right, and can we get a vote to adopt the emergency clause?
Make a motion, we adopt the emergency clause.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second it.
All right, roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe.
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
Pancho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Cheryl.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 529 is passed. Moving right along, no new business, so let's go to department head reports. Mr. Joe, what's going on?
All right. So for the month of March, I know my monthly looks a little bit different. We have a new format. We're working on this to make it look a little better, but that's what we got right now. But for the month of March, most of the violations were animal violations, as they have been recently. The only other thing of importance that I have that y'all need to know about is that the house fire on E Street, the end of this month is the date that it's done with. So we've made our postings, we've had no response. So within the next couple of days, if we don't have a response, at the next board meeting, we will need to do an ordinance to schedule demo or to go ahead with the demo on that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but then after that, we will do, we'll also need approval for the bidding of the demo at the next meeting. Yeah. And that's all I have.
What happens to the property after that?
It will, basically, it's gonna get auctioned by the state at the next round, and we'll put a lien against it, and we'll get our money back when they auction it.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Joe? No? Matt, how we doing?
We're doing good. Citywide cleanup went well this weekend. They lost count after 10 dumpsters.
Ran out of fingers and toes?
Yeah. They continued to haul after the landfill closed, and they just stockpiled at their compound until Monday. But they were really, really busy.
Yeah, they were good too. They were quick and they got it done.
Had a lot of people just commend you guys at how quick and helpful the guys were over there loading that stuff in, so thank them all for all that they do. All right, any questions for Mr. Matt? All right, Megan, you got anything for us? All right. All right, Tommy, you're up.
All right, in the month of March, we ran 3 fires, 80 medical, 9 public service for a total of 92 runs. We had an average response time of 1 minute 59 seconds. Multiple calls at once. We ran 2 calls at once, 1 time for a total of 2 runs. We made 2 out of the city to central city, both were medical. March was a successful month, and all tests were completed successfully. April, the crews are working on, and actually, most of them are done with hydrant testing. And we just, so in March, we sent 3 guys through school to become car seat installation techs. And in April, I sent 3 guys through CPR instructor school, and now we're gonna be teaching CPR classes within the community.
All right, very
That's
good.
all I got.
All right, any questions for Tommy? No? All right,
Hard to follow that.
Yep. Chief, you're up.
I have none. Everything's running as it should. Is there a reason you're dressed up, sir? We done interviews today.
For you or for?
No, we have an open position. Okay. Sorry. He's a character.
All right, any questions for Chief Fuller?
No, sir.
No? All right, move right along. Steve Core, you're up to bat, sir. No tea needed.
The auditor is finished, as far as we can tell, from anybody sitting here. And I checked also on the state status, and they show nothing on the state status. The other thing is we had a good bid on the city overlays, and the low is Emery Sapp and Sons. I do not have, and there is no schedule yet about the pre-construction meeting. The guys have been trimming back and trimming edges and getting ready for the overlay and doing some ditch cleaning that needed to be done. Specifically the road that we got a hold of over at the church, Frank Street. The other thing that is coming up, we will be looking at this ordinance that goes in. You'll see the ordinance that was passed tonight is what Matt and I have been trying to clean house and get rid of all the dead ordinances that don't apply really. The other thing that's coming up is, as Joe said, the ordinance that we will have to pass, and that's right by the statute, is an ordinance to demolish and remove the residue from the house fire. When you do that in this same ordinance, I have heard two versions, you put in there also the authority to advertise the demolition, because you don't want to do it in-house. You want it advertised by contract so that you have the basis for the lien and the repayment in the future. And that lien also has effects on the land that will be sold. In the statute, I think it's 5 years of no pay was what we found out.
And they're already multiple years into non-payment, so it will be quicker. I don't have the exact date. I had already talked to their office, and I want to say it's sometime in 2027, but I do have the exact date in my office. It was July, I think, of 2027 sometime.
The other thing is we'll be talking, we're only basically halfway or almost halfway through the year. What Megan talked about finance, we had a talk this morning about things that we've seen and what the auditors have rang our chimes about, and to our knowledge, knock on wood, there's not any answer findings. There are some things that are hints inside. One of the things that's going to happen into the future, and you need to know about it, and we'll make it real quick, is you all don't realize for the years since I've been here, we have added to the fire station 4, and we've added to the PD, and we've added 3 to the public works. This workload is going to be there all along, but I will tell you that what I heard from the auditor, and I talked to Travis when he was here, is we've not had any admin help, and we've been working with admin's staff at short 1 for sure. And this is going to go on because what's happening is this construction and the work into the future, Joe and Kim have a house full of trying to catch up with the work. You all think that we've been building before. 130 some odd houses going up at Katera out there is going to be a nightmare to work on. The other thing is, when the employees are here and the things that have changed with the public laws, there is a matter of, for your cost internally, which we provide, is the health insurance and the insurance schemes that you've got to have, and you've got to have somebody that's well-versed in it. The other is the human relations, and they have a crew at the state legislature meeting, and they're always coming up with some Jim crack law that requires internal effort and lost time and idle time. The other thing that goes with it is the simple maintenance of keeping the people trained. The training load that comes up is gonna be out of sight. You have Tommy's continuation training, you have Brian's training, you have Matt with the water guys, and it's no short circuit. It is a defined time that you can go test. The amount of training and the training budget is gonna be a factor that you're gonna have to play with, and here's why. Because for all the dollars that we spend at keeping somebody, and we've done a pretty good job, you all have, of keeping them pay and benefits as a recruiting incentive. You don't want to lose who you've taught that you have corporate knowledge in. You don't want them leaving. You want to try to keep as many as you can that you have trained, because you've invested the taxpayers' money. And that's something that has to go on. So you need to be thinking about, you have to work smarter, but you can only have so many people. It got to the point where this week, and last week, we had 3 out of the inside folks here because of training that was going on or vacation that was going on. You can't be taking, and we're gonna talk to you about something that's coming up, and I'll bring it up right now. We're gonna look at the judge and the court cases next year. Y'all don't realize, but the court was meeting 2 Thursdays in the month. Well, that was the opposite weeks to the days that the board met. And so what you have is, you have people that are either have signing on the checks, you have people that are training or trying to take vacation. 4 weeks out of the month, screwed up. You can't keep them, and which is why it's hard to get leave and vacation. And let me tell you, the police and fire had a mandatory clause to get their vacations in. You have so many hours, and they're front-loaded at the front of the year. Folks that are in public works or admin are not front-loaded. You get so much leave, and you have also, unless you have an authority and an authority from the board to extend it, you've got to take that leave in the year, your anniversary date, okay? You're looking at this, and so I'm just telling you up front, in the budget coming up, there's going to be a need for one more admin person, because we've carried on since I've been here in the last few years with fewer people than we had when I first came. And it makes it hard to do it. You can't take a leave, you can't take a break. And I know for 2 years, Ray Carruthers and I were the only ones that could sign the checks. It got out of sight. Neither one of us could take off and go anywhere. We had to be here. And this is because of the 2-person policy. And that's the greatest security you have, in that 2 people look at those checks. It's the greatest, because you have cases in this state where they'll have a check writing machine or whatever, and we know we look at consciously the Legislative Joint Audit Committee hearings, and you cannot imagine, you can only guess how much money is carted off or misspent or not spent, or they hire their brother-in-law to do a job that doesn't exist, okay? That stuff, and we see it, we look at the hearings and know. So there's a reason for asking for people. There's a reason to do it. We have one of the lowest fire incidences of anybody around here in terms, and we have one of the best criminal crime police records of any of the people in this county. And we're on a main road to everywhere. If you're a homegrown criminal, we've got you pretty well pegged, but if you're the transit going through town, there's a reason we're looking for you. So you need to think about that. It's a matter now of, we've got the design, and they've started on the park, so we're gonna be out there. And you've got if you hadn't been out there and the kids haven't tore the flags down, you know where track's gonna go, you know, where the latrine's gonna go, you know, where the parking's gonna be. And if anybody asks any questions, the date to open the splash pad is gonna be Memorial Day. We're not gonna start hosing people down in the middle of 30-degree weather. It doesn't work like that, okay? The other thing is paving, you know about that. So if you got the street's gonna be overlaid, don't park your car on the street, okay? We'll take care of that. Joe and Bill Rogers will be running them down. This is the kind of thing, I don't very seldom have time to say what I really think about it, but you need to be planning where you're going. All of y'all that are here, this is a veteran crew on this board. And all of you that live here and whatever you think about mayor, council forms of government, take my advice. I was at Fort Smith when they voted it down in 1967. And it was a reason out here it was voted down in the 1980s. And I know who was the perpetrators of that caused that. You don't want it. There's a reason why you want it.
Guess somebody brought that up.
There's always somebody asking questions about it. They hear the end deal at Fort Smith and you see what a snag they got.
Spreading rumors that I wanted to.
The real, and I'm gonna tell you, the real reason
not.
is, if you think about it, if you're tired of who's running it, you can tell, hey, you go home, I'm done, okay? If you have an elected official and he's carried it off to fix brother Joe's driveway with some fantastic project, you can't do anything unless you impeach him or you vote him out at the next election. I can do whatever, or a gal is a mayor. We got a couple of them that's made the visit to the state legislative joint audit committee, and they're sitting there going, yep, I didn't know it happened. Just stand there and they can't touch them. So if you want your dollars spent, you need to watch what you're doing and how you do it. You all have the most conservative policies of any that I've seen, and it's because of the management that you have here. You have control over. Two people or more look at the checks, they look at the invoices, they verify what's there. There are several other things that happen, and I will tell you about it, and then I'll finish. One of them is, and Bill, you were talking about it, is the spending limitation. Right now, it's $10,000 for me. The state statute, I think it's 20. Folks, you can't buy anything for $10,000 anymore. It doesn't work, and it needs to be what the state statute is. That's a reason why the employees that are hired here are bondable. There's a reason for having that. You can't bond an elected official like that. There's reasons why. And the other thing is, and if you don't know or haven't picked up, when you have an elected official in the mayor council, you elect the mayor, you elect the attorney, you elect the city treasurer or clerk, as they will. And so you're throwing money down elected officials that if they screw it up, you gotta vote them out or you gotta impeach them.
Does anybody on the board have a problem with the way it's ran now?
Well, I'm going to give you a heads up because Fort Smith is having that discussion.
They got petitions out already.
They should. I mean, it's a train wreck over there.
All righty, any questions for Mr. Steve?
Thank you.
Only question I got is, when we go to the, needing that administrative person, is that gonna be, that's gonna be a full-time position? Full-time, so health benefits and all that. Roundabout cost.
Probably about 50.
Nothing's been looked into, it's just been speaking to the auditors and the laws, the mandatory training that they're upping constantly is getting to be so much. We've never had personnel, and that's partially my fault because I have a hard time adding administration personnel and telling you all that it's important when police officers are protecting
they're creeping up
Pat, are
on
you
us.
still running the water department window,
Would this person be
doing that?
doing that as well with, along with other things?
I think they would be helping. It would be a lot of the administrative, like answering the phones, the daily easy tasks, so we can all focus on like our hard tasks. Cause I mean, there was days like last week when, you know, we had 2 people out sick and 2 at training, and Steve and I were running building, we were doing building permits, we were doing water payments, we were doing court questions, we were, not even our own jobs. I mean, we were, you know, it's getting harder and harder, and it's getting, the state's requiring so much more out of us than we used to. I asked them, how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to manage that? And they're just, you're gonna have to hire somebody. So, there hasn't been any, no numbers looked at, it's just been an inch in the state that it's coming, like, we're gonna have to do something to find somebody. It's just something to think on, but.
Your thoughts? Do we need to go ahead and pull the trigger and let's get it done?
We need to have it, if we'll make it through till this year's budget cycle, we're gonna just, it'll be nip and tuck, okay? If we do it right now, you're into the budget. Whether or not we can handle it this time, I don't know. We won't know until we really stop and say, okay, we need the budget for it. Right now, we've got people already programmed in their budgets for the other departments. If we can limp through to the end of the year, we'll be better off. And we need to plan on the advertising to have somebody to go to work at the first of the year because of the training that's gonna be required. And this,
Still 8 months away, though.
And it creeps up quick, though.
we'll,
We can discuss it at the mid-year, you know, we did no capital this year, we were gonna discuss it in July, and we can look at numbers then, and I can bring you numbers what that would cost if that's something we wanna discuss
Let's do that in July.
if we wanted to. I would ideally love to find a part-time person, but anymore, no one will work without benefits. Not anyone capable of doing what we need them to do.
Somebody who's gonna stay.
that's the important thing, is once they're trained. The other thing is, we saw something today that came up, and it happened in another place, but background checks for employees. The background checks and the AI checks, we had the IT visit, and the IT, Matt and I'll tell you that you can't even make the NEPDES reports, which are mandatory, without having, it's a dual identity and a magic phone number or transcribed number to get into the system. You can't get in there, and it's so people can't tamper or alter or whatever, sabotage the system. And when you have to come up, and that's the other thing about the computer we just had a while ago, getting the system up. This is a big thing in security, and it's gonna be the employees, it's sometime in the future, and I don't know what the date's gonna be, but we're probably gonna have to have security clearances run for future employees.
All right, any other questions for Steve? No? All right, does anybody have any announcements? I can't think of any off the top of my head. No? Well, anybody from the public want to say anything? No? Ron, it's up to you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we got a second, folks. We are adjourned. Have a great day.
We have a motion and a second. Everybody gonna vote on it?